It's time for a story. It's about a little rabbit. Do you recognize this rabbit? It's Fuzzy Rabbit by Rosemary Billam. And I read another story about this rabbit a long time ago called Fuzzy Rabbit Goes to the Park. This story is just called Fuzzy Rabbit. If you wanted to know more about Fuzzy Rabbit, I think we're about to find out. Ooh, look at the title page. Cookies and cakes, pretzel rods. What kind of a party is that? That looks delicious. Let's see. Fuzzy Rabbit, there he is in a basket. And here he is. This is a picture a little bit like the cover, but with some other things around. Let's bring it closer so you can see. The words say, Fuzzy Rabbit had been with the family for as long as he could remember. His dungarees were faded. That's another word for those overalls made of a jeans material. He had a hole in the elbow of his sweater, and his buttons were all odd ones of different sizes. One of the stitches of his mouth had come undone, so he couldn't even smile. So he's been around a long time. You know how it is with stuffed animals that are very, very loved. They start looking a bit worn out. His little girl, Ellen, kept telling him to cheer up. He tried, but he felt lonely and down in the dumps. He remembered the old days when Ellen used to take him to school in her knapsack. That was interesting. He liked learning things. He liked the other children. I guess she doesn't bring him to school anymore. He used to sit next to Ellen and help her with her math. It looks like this school let Ellen bring a lovey. Some schools don't let you bring stuffed animals from home, and some schools do. He would watch her paint, but recently Ellen had started leaving him at home with the other toys. You can see here he's watching her close the door. She's not even looking back at him. I think he's feeling like he's not that important to her anymore. On her birthday, for the first time, Ellen forgot to take Fuzzy downstairs for her birthday party. He could hear the children in the front room dancing to music and playing games. He sighed. He felt a bit left out. He decided to go and have a little peek, so he climbed off the bed and tiptoed out to the landing. That's the top of the stairs. He lowered himself down the stairs and pushed his head between the banister rails. When I was a kid, I imagined that my stuffed animals could do this, that they could move around when I wasn't looking. What do you think about that? He could see Ellen opening her presents. There were pieces of wrapping paper and bits of ribbon and cards and envelopes all over the floor. Fuzzy had never seen so many presents before. There were cries of delight as Ellen opened a box and took out a pink doll with curly hair and shiny black shoes. Fuzzy thought that she looked like a perfectly ordinary sort of doll. Wonder if he's feeling a little jealous. He doesn't want Ellen to get a new toy that she might like more than him. Ellen was excitedly opening her presents. Inside the next one was a feathery owl wearing a pair of spectacles. Those are glasses. Ellen showed off the owl to her friends. Fuzzy couldn't see what all the fuss was about. Ellen's mother started to light the candles on the cake. "I'll just shut the door so that the draft won't blow them out," she said. That cake does look delicious, doesn't it? And this is what Fuzzy is seeing. He's seeing Ellen and her friends oohing and aahing over that new owl stuffy. Oh dear. It was dark and cold on the landing, and Fuzzy couldn't watch the party anymore, so he went back to Ellen's room and climbed up on the bed. He kept thinking what a lot of fun the children were having. That night, Ellen was allowed to stay up late. When it was time for bed, she had to get out of her party dress and into her nightgown very quickly, so she put the pink doll and the owl onto her bed next to Fuzzy. "Move over, Fuzzy," she said. Well, at least she noticed Fuzzy. Do you think Fuzzy wants to share the bed with these new toys? Fuzzy wished that the new toys didn't take up so much room. He nudged the owl to make him move over a bit. The owl pecked him. Fuzzy didn't think that was very polite. Fuzzy hoped Ellen would see that he was being squashed, but after saying goodnight, she went straight to sleep because she was so tired from her party. "Excuse me," he whispered to the pink doll, "but I need a bit more space." She pretended not to hear him. So Fuzzy gave her a push, and she pushed him back, and Fuzzy fell over the side and rolled underneath the bed. Oh no, these new toys are not friendly. He asked for more space, and instead he got pecked and pushed. Poor Fuzzy. Oh. There he is, on the floor. It was very cold on the floor all night, but what was worse, nobody noticed that he was missing in the morning. He lay there sadly all day, sneezing in the dust. Achoo! Nobody heard him. Fuzzy wondered if Ellen would remember him when she came home from school. Would she think of looking under the bed? He's wondering how long it will take Ellen to remember that he's missing and look for him. At 4:00, Ellen's friend Mary came over to play. "What shall we do this afternoon?" asked Mary. "Let's play nurses," said Ellen. They got out Ellen's doctor kit and uniform from the dresser. The girls put all the toys into the hospital, but Ellen wasn't happy because something wasn't right. Something was missing. "Where's Fuzzy?" she said. The girls searched in the closet, behind the curtains, and under the bed covers. "He's lost," said Mary. "He must be hiding," said Ellen. She looked under the bed. "Fuzzy, what are you doing down there? You're all dusty." Ellen picked Fuzzy up and gave him a hug. Oh, what a relief. She looked for him and she found him. Look at this picture. This makes me feel better. Ellen was surprised at how thin he'd become. "I remember when Mommy first made you. You were so cuddly and cheerful and bright," she said. Did you know that? Fuzzy Rabbit did not come from a store. Ellen's mommy made Fuzzy Rabbit. She must be very good at sewing. Ellen looked at Fuzzy and noticed that the fuzzy wool on his face had worn away and that he was losing some of his stuffing. That's why he seemed thin. "Look," she whispered to Mary. "I could take him home with me and make him better," said Mary. "I'd swap my kaleidoscope for him," she added. Uh-oh. Fuzzy was suddenly very frightened. Mary was quite a nice little girl, but he didn't want to go and live at her house. What would Ellen say? Will Ellen trade Fuzzy Rabbit to her friend? Ellen did not need time to think about it. She answered right away. Oh, I wouldn't swap Fuzzy for anything. He's always been my best friend. I can make him better. Fuzzy felt happy through and through. Whew. Yeah. Mary took his temperature and made charts for all the other patients while Ellen threaded a needle for the operation. Whoa. She got out the syringe out of her kit and gave Fuzzy an injection. It won't hurt now, she told him. Wow, this really looks like a medical kit. She really looks like a doctor, doesn't she? Threading a needle. Does she know how to sew? Ellen pushed all the stuffing back in and sewed him up. All over now, she said. She also put another stitch into his lips so that he could smile again. Ellen and Fuzzy smiled at each other. Ellen fussed over Fuzzy while Mary gave the owl some medicine and tied a bandage around the pink doll's arm. What are their names? Asked Mary. Oh, they haven't got names yet, said Ellen. She's not interested in giving her new toys names. She's too busy looking at Fuzzy and loving him. Fuzzy looked across at the new toys sitting in the old cradle. He thought how horrible it must be not to have a name. Well, what are you going to call them? Asked Mary. Isn't it nice that even though the doll and the owl were not very kind to Fuzzy, he still has feelings for them. He's still thinking about how they feel, not having a name. Fuzzy's very thoughtful, isn't he? He can really think about how others are feeling. Well, said Ellen, I'll call the owl Wisey because he's wise, and I'll call the doll Jane because, well, she looks like a Jane, said Ellen. Ellen's mother called, Tea's ready, so the girls ran downstairs. Fuzzy went over to Jane and Wisey. Hello, he said. My name's Fuzzy. Just then, the door opened. Let's take a look here. And Ellen and Mary came back. They sat all the toys down in a circle and set out the doll's tea service. Oh, so the girls were having tea and the loveys and the toys were having tea. Mary poured the orange juice and Ellen sliced the birthday cake. She gave Fuzzy the biggest piece because he'd been so brave during his operation. It's nice to have friends, thought Fuzzy, smiling. Fuzzy knows that to have friends, you need to be a friend. And he was very friendly to the new toys, wasn't he? He went over and he said, Hi, my name's Fuzzy. That's a good way to meet people, even if they don't answer. Did you notice that the owl and the doll did not answer? Maybe they were feeling a little shy in that moment. But Fuzzy knows how to be friendly, and it doesn't even matter how the other animals are. He knows how he wants to be, which is kind and friendly. Isn't that a nice story about Fuzzy Rabbit? I had a rabbit when I was a kid named Snowball. It was a white rabbit, like this one, and also got very worn out. But I didn't know how to sew to fix him. My mommy would do it. Does anybody in your family know how to sew? Maybe Daddy or Grandma? I'm glad you came to Story today. I'll read you another one on another day. Bye.